Hello, people of the present, if you're watching this live, and people of the future, if you're watching a recording. Hello, yes. Sorry for the audio problem. I think I have fixed it. And I think these are the distractions that we will have today. I mean, all of them. I don't want any more distractions. Let me open back Excel. I was explaining a little bit what's going on here. So as you can see here, we have the name of the cards. Here we have the type, which is a creature, structure, or action. Subtypes for creatures and for structures. Abilities. Then we've got the cost, how much the card costs to play. Speed stat for ships mainly, power and health. Then the rarity and the name of the illustrator. But this is currently vacant because most cards don't have illustrator. Actually, let's go here to the planets, and as you can see, I've got a lot of planets here, each for the 6 of the colors and for the 2 color combinations. So all in all, I think it's 21. And let's just put here the name of the illustrator, who is Vasily Potapov. Let's give credit to him. He's a friend of mine, and he was kind enough to help me with art for the Multiverse trading card game. Although, to be fair, he hasn't done all of these cards quite yet, but I'm pretty sure he will finish all of the planets so that they have a consistent art style and so they look like they're all from the same game. So before I started this stream, I tried to fix the problem with the resource impact curve with creatures and structures and their difference. So I figured out how the curve with regard to creatures. So for one colorless resource, as I was saying before, my audio was working. For one colorless resource, you get so 1 power, 1 health creature. That is the baseline. That is the median, let's say. So that's for one colorless. So this card here, Gunner, by the way, the names are not final. They're just placeholder names. It costs 1 red, so it's a colored resource. So you would get a bonus because that's a more specific cost requirement than one colorless resource. So you get a 1/1 and this bonus, which says when card name is in a ship, card name is the name of the card. It's when it's referring to itself. That ship gets +1 power. So this is a neat effect when the gunner is inside of a ship, and the strategy when your strategy is to try to win attacking with ships. Okay, and now I'll have to fix a few of these power health ratios and cost stats ratios for the creatures. Unfortunately, I didn't quite crack the code for structures and ships because the problem with that is that structures don't attack by themselves. They need something inside of them to attack. So they need a creature inside of them to attack. So if, let's say, I have a building that deals 1 damage and 1 resource and has 1 health, well, that's actually a bad example, but what I'm trying to say is that structures get higher stats for the same cost because they don't do anything by themselves. They require another card for them to do anything. And the amount of bonus stats that they get, I didn't quite figure out. Plus, there's this extra stat that is speed, and I don't quite know how to evaluate speed. So I tried a few things, and I'm not quite sure. By the way, if you've noticed, I have a Multiverse t-shirt. I made this yesterday. I wanted to show it live on camera. Unfortunately, all of the words are back to front. It works It works well when I look at it. It's just that the image is flipped. That's why it's all back to front. I think it looks all right, and it's a good way of promoting the game even when I'm, walking around the street. Although people probably won't know what I'm doing, what this logo is and what it's referring to. Anyway, let's fix a bit of these power levels, as I was saying. So a one-man fighter for 2, you would get, I have no idea actually, maybe a 2-1. So 3-3-1. I don't know. Let's keep this actually like pretty much how they are. 1-1, 3-2 with range 1. Maybe a 3-1. More aggressive. Maybe no. Actually, a 2-2. I don't know. 3-1. Kind of hard to come up with these stats from the top of my head. Portable tank. So it's structure for 2 specific resources. I don't know. This looks fine actually to me. Card name is initiative. Plus 1. Okay. Sure, that works. You make it a 2-1. Metal worker. 2. This one can be a 1-2, so that the stats are a little bit different and varied. I'll go through this as fast as I can, and then I'll go actually and creating new cards. Rock Soldier, so a 3-2 for 1. This is overpowered. Let's make it a 2-1 for 1, or a 3-2 for 2. Make it a 3-2 for 2 actually. So these, I haven't explained what these things are. The O stands for orange here, the R stands for red, and the Z is colorless. So this costs, this card, Rock Soldier, costs 2, 1 orange and 1 colorless. Miner, for 2, you get a 2-1. Okay, fine. A little, okay, no, that's fine. Builder, oh, I didn't put stats on this one. So this card says, buildings you play on the same space as card name cause 1 colorless less to play. So it accelerates you in terms of buildings, playing buildings. And so I think it can cost, I think it should be a cheap one. If I make it like this, is this too big of an upside? I think it is, because you can play 2 of these builders at the same turn. Make it a 2-1 for 2. I don't know, maybe a 2-2. No, that's still too powerful. 1-1. Minor. Mechanic. Beginner. Okay, these stats look different enough. Save and go. Okay, here. Now for 3, a 2-7-7 is way too powerful. For 3, you should get something along a 2-3, a 2-4-4. But in orange, since orange doesn't get the best ships, you'll get something like this. For 3, okay. Power boost. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Let's go over to yellow. No, wait, another card. This is too powerful. Let me see. For 3, you would get an 8. 8, so 9. Let's make it a 9. Yeah, this a 9 works. Here, yellow. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible before actually anyone joins in. Okay. Sure. Let's go back. By the way, if last time I had some problems with the audio, And if there are any problems, please write in the chat, and I will try to fix them. There was, for some reason, some echo, and hopefully there isn't any now. But anyway, let's continue. Cheap cargo ship for 215. This works okay. La la la. This is okay. All right. Soul powered. This is right. Ship. What is this? 124. This doesn't have a name. Sure. Call it back. Okay, this is fine. This is weird. For 4, you get a 3/4, and what do you get? A green for each beast you control on the same planet as card name. This is something isn't right with this. 3/4 for 3, you get a 3/4. Yeah, okay. This looks better. Maybe even a 2/4. Astronomer, okay, works fine. Sage, play card, draw a card, fine. Sniper robot, fine. Draw 2 cards. And that's basically where I am right now. Okay, so last time I stopped at yellow. I went further. I started to make green cards, but the audio started to bite back at me. So I'll explain how the green cards that I made work and what they are, and then I'll go forward with blue. And once I go with blue, make some blue cards, I'll make some violet cards, and then if I can't think of any more simple, easy to understand and flavorful commons, preferably, I can go inside and figure out how the 2-color strategies in the base set should work. This should be interesting, and then I can start making cards relating to the 2-color strategies. These these cards that I'm doing right now are more all-purpose cards that are flavorful within the color. So this is what I'm trying to do right now. So green, let's go here. Green, as you can see, I've written down that it's the color of growth. So I made a card that grows each turn. At the beginning of your turn, card name gets +1 health. And every turn, it gets 1 additional health. So it's a good way of stalling the game. If I don't know, if you have a planet that isn't your home planet, or even your home planet, that you want to protect, you can put this cheap plant on top of it, and if enough time passes, it would be a hard thing to remove, and it would take a lot of time to deal with this card, especially because it costs 1 green. So for 1 green, I think it's a fair effect. So this is a stalling card. This solar-powered ship, one problem that I faced with designing green ships is that green has the worst ships of them all. And for a while, I actually thought about removing ships entirely from green. And probably green should have some amount of ships, even if they're not the best. So this one is flavorful in my opinion. It has 2 speed if it's on a planet. It has 1 speed if it's on a space adjacent to a planet. And it has 0 speed if it's not adjacent to a planet. Why such a strange card? So it represents solar power. If you think that next to every planet there has to be a star, then a solar-powered ship is more solar-powered next to a planet. And if it's further away, it has less power, less fuel, let's say, or less energy to move around. And if it's too far out in space, it doesn't get enough solar power to move. So this is the idea behind this ship. And the idea is that green ships aren't reliable, and they just aren't that great. They have more health than power usually, and that's it. So I want to give them a basic kind of not that great ship. So maybe, oh, this is actually still too powerful. Get a 1/3 for 2. This should be pretty much what green gets for 2. Maybe a 1/4 if I'm being generous. Am I being generous? I don't know. Let's go with this. And then color of the pack, which is part of a cycle of cards actually. I have a cycle of action cards, one for each color, that has something to do with the number 2. This card gets you 2 beast creature tokens in play, and this goes with the green's strategy of swarm, this word here, and it contributes to that strategy. Let's actually go and see all of the other cards in this cycle. We've got Blast that deals 2 damage for 1 red. We've got Power Boost, which gets a +2 power, +2 health to a creature until end of turn. And then we have Cash In. For 1 yellow, you get 2 yellow. For green, okay, you get the color of the pack. For 2, you get 2 creature tokens. In blue, you get to draw 2 cards for 3. In violet, you get to discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand for 2 violet. And that's it. This is the cycle. This is sort of a tribute to Magic the Gathering's cycle in Alpha, which is the first set Richard Garfield did, the very first set of Magic the Gathering cards, and where there were 5 cards each to do with the number 3, and that was a very unbalanced set, unbalanced cycle of cards. Let me drink some water. I'm dehydrated. Okay, moving on. So let's start making blue cards. I have 3 creatures already done here. An astronomer, a sage, and a small sniper robot. Each of them kind of reflect blue's style of play and blue's philosophy. So an astronomer, it lets you look at any unexplored space in the galaxy. So it gives you information, and blue is big on information. It's the color of knowledge. Where's knowledge? Oh, it's not here, but yeah, it's here. Color of knowledge. And Sage, when you play it, you draw a card, so it replaces itself, and it's another thing that blue does is versatility. So you get a creature, but you also get something else. And small sniper robot, it has range, and it survives in space. So robots all survive in space. Maybe I should keyword this robot mechanic. I don't know what to keyword it as right now. But range is an ability that is more of a blue and yellow, maybe purple ability that its flavor it's basically that you don't attack in close combat, and you sort of attack from afar, and this way your creatures generally don't get hurt or destroyed in battle. So this is a thing that blue does. Let's go back to our this is my previous iteration of the base set. If you have if you asked for a deck back when I used to give out decks, then the cards are all from this iteration of the base set. Back when I had 4 colors, that's why actually I need a new iteration, because I have changed so much that I can't use this one anymore. So let's go. Sniper robot, researcher. What does Let's see what cards are flavorful here. Maybe I can borrow some of my own ideas. Every time researchers explores a planet, add blue to that planet. Wonder card, shields. Shields, okay. Actually, yeah. I think I think blue needs a card that grants shields to something, because that's another defensive mechanic, another kind of stalling mechanic that blue uses to survive for enough turns until they gather the resources that they need. So maybe it's a creature or maybe a structure that grants shields. Actually, no, let's make a ship that has the ability like a shield 1. And let's call it like armored vessel. And let's make it cost a blue and a colorless, 1 speed. And I don't know, is this powerful? Yeah, it is. It's too powerful. Like something like this. Actually, let's go with this. So for 2 resources, 2 colorless, you get, of course, I have to fix these numbers, but since I don't have them fixed, I'll use my old curve. And you get 1 speed and 2 power and 2 health. And for the specific requirement of 1 blue resource, you have to get a little upside. So this upside is shields 1. And it used to be a stronger mechanic before I added the, not ambush, I keep thinking ambush, the boarding mechanic, since shields don't do anything against boarding. Okay, and maybe something that grants shield, I think. Let's call it shield engineer. And how will a creature that grants shields function? It just, I guess, when you play it, it builds a shield on a structure that you already own. Maybe this could work. Yeah. When you play, card name, a structure you control on the same planet, on the same space as card name, gets +1 shield. Maybe it should be called 1 shield. Although no. The mechanic is always the same word. It shouldn't change much from, I think it shouldn't change from plural to singular. And +1 shield, okay. And make it a human, just for the fun of it. Human engineer. So this card, I think, maybe should cost 2. Let's make it cost 2 blue, just because it's a little bit different, and make it a 1/2, slightly more powerful, because for now every single creature, a common blue creature that I've made is a 1/1, and you don't want too many of the same power and health. Okay, let's make another ship. Again, let's reference myself, because some of the colors have changed a lot since this version. Some not as much, and blue really hasn't changed as much. And I had some pretty interesting cards here, so maybe I can reuse some of them. Let's see. So we've got a ship here. When you gain control of a planet with Dark Expedition ship, draw a card. So it gives you cards when you explore planets. I don't see the point. So this card originally was made because I didn't have a way to incentivize exploring the galaxy. But now that I have, I don't think this is actually needed. Maybe a ship that can be boarded is a more thing that's more in line with blue. It can be. Why can't it be boarded? Because it has I don't know, cloaking maybe. Oh yeah, what about a cloaked ship that you can't see? That's interesting. So how can I show a ship that can't be seen? You get what I mean here. If it can't be seen, that it can't be dealt damage unless it does something. So it can be attacked. Let's do this. Card name can't be attacked or boarded unless it moved or attacked on your last turn. Let's see how this works. So if you have this ship, you build it, and you don't move it, so it's still on your either home planet or another planet, and it can't be attacked or boarded. So you can put creatures inside of it, and there's no way of your opponent to destroying it. That feels unfair. No, maybe this is not the right way of wording it. How can I show a cloaked ship through gameplay? Maybe if yeah, maybe if it's just I like the idea of a ship that can't be boarded, but I don't know if this is actually a cloaked ship or something else, or why can't it be boarded? Maybe it has some magnetic field that protects it. So let's make it a sign of magnetic ship. I don't know actually, but I think that a simple ability like this should go on a blue card because it's in line with their strategy and helps them with defending their feeble creatures. So if it can't be boarded, then it probably doesn't have strong stats. Maybe I'll make it cost more, maybe 3 or 4. 4, I think. A slow ship, since it can't be boarded, there's no point in making it that fast. You can just move normally with it and don't be worried about boarding. And so for 4, you usually get 6/6. For 4 colorless, you get a 6/6 1. But this is a pretty powerful ability that shuts down a few strategies. So maybe if it's like a 4/4, it should be balanced. I think this is balanced. So it's a slow ship that can be boarded. I think this works as a common. Should be all right. And again, this is speed, this is power, and this is health of the cards. For some reason, nobody is joining here. It's a shame. Okay, I'll continue thinking aloud though and making cards. Apparently, this is not a very entertaining thing to stream, so maybe tomorrow I'll stream something different. But I really need to make as many cards as possible. And let's make an action here. Blue tends to use trickery and it's a more evasive and a more brainy color. Let's see how I worded it here. Blue uses manipulation. That's manipulation of the galaxy. But this is a kind of a big word for um, rare cards. Not every common card should use this. Sabotage, sabotage. Let's make a card called Sabotage. I don't know if it should be common or not, but I think Sabotage sounds like a thing that blue action can do. Sabotage. So the flavor of Sabotage is that you destroy something, or rather you tinker with something, and it then explodes at the worst opportune moment for your opponent. So how can you turn this into gameplay? You can just make it something like destroy any structure. This is a very powerful effect. Maybe this is too powerful for common. Or maybe, yeah, this no destroy spell should be this versatile, I think. Let's make it so you have to wait. Okay, let's make it like this. How about this? You wait a turn and then you destroy the structure. This is more in line with the flavor of the card. So you kind of do something, and then if your opponent has time to react, it can maybe evacuate the building or do something with the ship, try to move it to someplace and get the creatures off of it before it's destroyed. If not, then it's destroyed. So let's make it at the big. So you play this on your turn, and your opponent has to get one shot at saving the creatures inside of a structure. So let's make it like this. At the end of your opponent's next turn, destroy. No, that doesn't work. Choose any structure. At the end of your opponent's turn, destroy it. Comma. This, I think, works right? At the end of your opponent's turn, destroy it. Or maybe even at the beginning of your turn. It doesn't change much. Let's make it at the end of your opponent's turn, because something might happen at the beginning of your turn that saves it. I don't know. As of now, all of the things that trigger at the beginning of your turn. And let's make it at the beginning. It really doesn't change much. So at the beginning of your next turn, destroy it. Oh, this changes actually something in multiplayer games. I didn't think about this. So if you're playing a game with 4 people, then you play this card, you play Sabotage on your opponent's card. Then your opponent has his turn or her turn, and then another 2 people have their turns. And if I were this thing to say at the end of your opponent's next turn, then at the end of their turn it's destroyed, but then another 2 people have their own turns, and it's still there. It's not there anymore. But this way, the structure is still there for the other 2 players' turns. I think this is even more in flavor then, because it's just a longer wait, even though it's not a longer wait, if you know what I'm saying. And how powerful should this action be? Now this is harder to evaluate. Considering that you can theoretically destroy the biggest ship there is in the game, and all of the creatures inside of it, it has to be pretty powerful, pretty costly. So at least 4, I'm thinking. And maybe even color intensive. So blue, ZZ. Let's do it like this. Maybe even more. Maybe it to 5. BBZZZ. 2 blue and 3 colorless. This, as I thought, is way too powerful for common. You shouldn't get this sort of effects in any color at common. If there's too many sabotages going around, then people's structures will blow up a lot more often. So let's put it here at uncommon. Maybe it should actually be a rare, but let's keep it at uncommon. Now let's go over at violet. So violet here, as I've written here, what does it do? Let's drink another moment. Something is wrong with my throat. Let's check the audio. It seems to be working fine. So violet, I've written here, it deals in oil wells, chemical weapons, pollution, drones, manipulation of creatures, cyborgs, incapacitates creatures, sacrifice creatures. So it's a vile color. What could a generic common violet creature be? Maybe a zombie of some sort. So maybe not a literal zombie, but a creature that is diseased and sort of a homunculus, an Iger sort of type, an assistant in your evil plan. Your hunchback, you know, yes, master. This vile little thing. Let's call it zombie helper. I don't know. Assistant. Zombie assistant. And the first thing that comes to my mind is very weak stats, maybe even 0-1, that it can't really attack and deal damage. 0 power and 1 health. Now, what can this thing do? It helps you with your evil plan. Now, it doesn't help you build stuff. It doesn't help you operate ships, but maybe it helps you with your actions, with your evil actions. And this way, I don't know. Maybe he gets. I don't know. Let me think. He's an assistant. So, oh, this is hard actually. The first thing that came to my mind is that it can get you cards out of your deck. Yeah, that works, I think. So when card name, no, actually, when you play card name, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put one of them into your hand and the other, where should you put it? At the bottom. Oh, I shouldn't write deck, I should write arsenal, the technical term. Come on, put one of them in your hand and the other one at the bottom of your arsenal. I'm not really happy with what this card does. It's not that violet of a feel. Maybe because it's a kind of a generic helper. It's not necessarily an evil zombie assistant. Maybe it can do something different. So if you it helps you with your plan, so maybe it has something to do with actions. Maybe it gets an action from from your deck on top of your deck, something like that. That's powerful. Maybe too powerful, actually. No. An assistant, zombie assistant, Igor. Let's call it Igor. It's not really a zombie. Or homunculus. Maybe he helps you do something specific, like, for example, get stuff from your junkyard. It goes and rummages in the junkyard and uses kind of scrap and brings it to you. Okay, yeah, this is a fine violet ability, I think. Red can work with the scrapyard as well, with the junkyard as well, but I think it's more of a violet mechanic. So when you play card name, comma, put a card from your junkyard into your hand. How about a creature card? No. How about something different? From your deck to your graveyard, from your deck to your junkyard. Junkyard to your hand. No. I can't seem to figure out this card. Maybe it's too generic. What other cards? Let me go back here and see. Pollution, drones, manipulation. Okay, let's make a robot. An evil robot that destroys everything in its path. A mindless kind of drone. Let's make it powerful with the downside. So let's say that card name has to attack every turn. No. Card name no, this doesn't work. Mindless drone. So he's programmed to kill, let's say. And at the end of your turn, card name deals damage to all creatures on the same space as card name. As it. How much damage? Again, this is way too specific, I'm thinking. So, okay. Homunculus. I'm not actually sure. Maybe, okay. Let's. So, if orange has a miner and red has a orange has a builder and yellow has a citizen, those things that give you resource. How does violet get resource? It pollutes the planet, and so let's make a card that pollutes the planet and gets you resource. So maybe it's an oil worker. You know, a guy who gets oil from the, I don't know if it's called an oil miner. Make it an oil miner, even if it sounds weird. So at the end of your turn, card name deals 1 damage to a creature you control on the same space as it, and you and add violet. To each. Doesn't have to be you control. This is a kind of a symmetrical, interesting. Okay, this is an interesting card because if it's on your opponent's planet, then it gives them resource, but it damages them. And if it's on your planet, it damages your creatures and gives you resource. So I don't know how powerful this should be. Unfortunately, since it's a 1, it deals 1 damage. Maybe it can be like a 1/3 and costs something like VV. So a 1/3 for 2 purple is 2 violet is not great. It's below the curve, and you get this ability, which sometimes is beneficiary and sometimes isn't. So I'm interested in seeing how powerful this card becomes. This is a good card. Finally, I figured out an interesting violet card that's pretty similar, pretty simple on the surface because it has 1 line of text, but it can do multiple things. Come on, why isn't anyone here? It's Saturday. Most people are at home, you know, don't have much to do. Let's continue. So we have 1 card in violet, but it's turning out to become quite difficult color to create cards for. We have all minor now. I want to make a mindless drone though. Get a robot. Give him the robot ability. Wait. Survives in space. And not only that, it gets some other small ability. What can it get? Oh, maybe he can't operate ships because he's a mindless drone. So, oh yeah, this works fine. This works all right because you think of a big, dumb robot, a war machine that is programmed for war and can't operate ships. So actually, this I'm thinking is more of a red card, but I like the design, so I'll just move it to red. Red is the color of war, so a war machine is kind of what red would build. And by the way, I have actually war machines written here, so this mindless drone is a good example. So card name can't operate ships, I guess. No, I'll just put structures. So the term survives means something, and the term operate means something. Survive means that you don't get destroyed in space. Usually when a creature is in space without a structural, when it's not inside of a structure, it's destroyed. Meanwhile, robots are not destroyed because they don't have to breathe air. And can't operate structures means that operate means that when a creature is inside of a structure, it can operate it, and the structure now can attack and can move it if it has speed. Let's take this, bring it over to red, make it a powerful. Oh, so this is a 4/4. This is way too powerful. This is easy. RZZ 5/4. And grunt shouldn't be that powerful. Maybe make it a RZ and a 3/2. And a mindless drone, so it's more powerful than a human, like a human here. I sometimes forget to add all the things here. Okay, mindless drone, robot, structured. So it has an upside and a downside, and if it costs 3, I'm thinking 3. For 3 colorless resource, you get a 4/4, and since one of them is red, you probably get a 5/4, and it survives in space, so get some calibration. Maybe get a 5/5 out of the deal. I think this is fair. So it's powerful, but it can't operate structures. So you need another weaker maybe creature to operate the structure. So this kind of underlines the fact that red needs ships, needs these weaker creatures to put inside of ships, and their boarding strategy isn't that great because their boarding creatures can't go inside of ships alone, I guess. So let's go back to violet and get rid of this red card that we did. And let's call it, I still want a robot though, evil robot, or maybe selfish robot. It doesn't care about other races, only robots. So it will be a little tribal sub-theme, I think, for robots in Violet. I think this would work. Like, for example, all non-robots get -1 health. That doesn't make sense. So it cares only about robots and things of his kind. So so what? How can we do this? How can we tell this? Gets maybe a bonus to all robots. No, that's not necessarily Violet. It doesn't make sense that he debuffs non-robot creatures, because how would flavor-wise one do that? And this is why it's hard to think of cards. You have to find an interesting way of capturing the flavor of a card. I really can't think of one right now. Let's go back to the laboratory assistant, homunculus, and he aids you in your evil plans. So he kind of maybe gets rid of bad cards in your hand and draws you the cards you need. So maybe it can do like discard a card from your hand. This is the cost of the ability. Look at the top 3 cards in your deck, in your arsenal, comma, put one of them in your hand, and the other, where would you put the other? In the, I think on the bottom is more appropriate, because otherwise you get a lot of cards in your junkyard and you deplete your arsenal. So he doesn't throw things away. He just puts them in a place that is harder to find, but not into the junkyard. Put the other, sorry, on the bottom of your arsenal in any order. So he is a helper. Even though he doesn't increase the number of cards that you have in your hand, he cycles through them and loots you into better stuff. Look at the top. Yeah, I think this is okay. So if he is a 1/1 and costs 1, this is a little powerful for a 1-cost creature. Although it doesn't get stronger in multiples, so you can do this as many times as you want. Actually, this is a powerful effect to have. So you pay one on a creature. This is a powerful effect. If it costs like 3, then it should be all right, I think. VZZ. Where is everybody? I've been doing this for an hour. I've even posted multiple times on Facebook and Twitter about this live stream, and no one seems to care. I posted the part 1 on YouTube, and still nobody showed up for this one. I don't know. Is this really not interesting? It seems interesting to me to witness the design process for cards. And I don't know, it can be useful for people to kind of realize what's my process in making cards, and I know this is not that visually interesting, just watching a guy writing words as if they're doing homework or something. But if you're fans of the game, if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and if you want to interact with me, I don't see why you shouldn't come here and talk, and we can discuss anything related to Multiverse or related to trading card games or related to anything you'll want. And I'm kind of bummed out that there's still nobody here. I'll stay for another hour, and then I'll stop. And tomorrow, maybe I'll do another type of stream that's more visually pleasing. So maybe draw some stuff, draw card art, maybe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Okay, so structure-wise, what kind of ships should Violet have? Let's go back here and see oil pollution drone, religion cyborgs. Oh, actually, let's put in a cyborg. At common, sure, why not a cyborg? A generic cyborg. So the thing that I thought about when I think about cyborgs is that they used to be living creatures, but you enhance them with technology. Maybe they died, and then you bring them back with technology. So violet will be one of the colors that uses the junkyard more and sends stuff to their junkyard and uses that resource. So violet thinks that any resource is valuable to use, even the dead. So How about remove, no wait, no. As an additional cost to play card name, remove a creature from your junkyard, in your junkyard from play. So if you've played Innistrad block Magic the Gathering, you'll recognize this as the scab mechanic. And this is kind of how I feel cyborgs should be treated in Multiverse, the trading card game. So you remove a creature card from your junkyard completely from play, and you get this way a more powerful creature that you would otherwise. So basic cyborg, I think, should get decent stats, maybe a 3-2 or something, or a 2-3. And so normally a 2-3 should cost 2 resource, and maybe you can have this for 1. So 1 resource and 1 creature. Right? I'm not sure if this is correct. Seems like it. Now let's go back to structures and ships. For a moment there, I had someone following the stream. Oh, they're gone. And okay, so let's go actually with actions. Actions that Violet can do is use chemical weapons, pollution, incapacitate creatures, kind of like, well, just weird and disgusting things they can do. So they can disrupt plans, as I've written here. Maybe add another action that can incapacitate creatures. Oh, disease is a big thing that Violet uses. So maybe can be a slow removal spell that just keeps giving. No, okay, let's instill infection or something like infect. Call it infect, and this actually should be sort of a continuous action. Oh, I don't have any continuous actions in this in the first set, so maybe I'll use this somewhere else. No, this is not the right thing. How can I show a disease? No, I don't think I can show a disease with instant actions that do one thing and then aren't used anymore. And let me think. So manipulation of creatures. So maybe mind control can be a thing that Violet does. Maybe for a. No, okay. So yeah, you. Okay, all right. I'm thinking. Gain control of any creature. And of course, this is a powerful effect. And the flavor of this is that you corrupt a creature, and then they start working for you secretly, like a spy. And this is something that Violet can do, and maybe also Yellow. I see someone is watching me. Who is it? Finally, someone. No, I don't know. Who are you? Let me see the chat. Moranskiot. Welcome to my Let's Make a Trading Card Game stream. And finally someone showed up. I don't understand why nobody showed up. Apparently making cards is not that interesting thing to watch. And let's call it corrupt. How are you, Moranskiot? And again, this is a very powerful ability, so I'm thinking this shouldn't be a common, maybe an uncommon action that Violet does. And let's see how much can this ability cost. So it's like 2 creatures. You can gain your opponent's best creature, you know, put it in the best strategy, in the best spot, and so it's like destroying it and putting a creature that's exactly the same in its place. And that's a very, very powerful effect. So I use Magic the Gathering sometimes as a reference, and Control Magic is a very, very powerful card that costs 4. But in my game, as I already can see that 4 is too little, because creatures are way more important. They operate ships, so you can conceivably gain control of a ship and the creature, and and the planet if it's their only creature on that planet. So I'm thinking that something something this powerful should cost like 6 resource, and so maybe 2 violet and 4 colorless. So Z is colorless, as I've said before. Okay, and make it either uncommon or even rare, maybe. All right, and I think I've created enough. No, let's make a ship, a violet ship, just to show what violet ships can do. All right, so let me go back here in my notes. I don't have much to do with ships here, but considering their philosophy, they would kind of use more stealth, more what they're called, ship that you can't see. They're not hooded, invisible, that sort of thing, and use trickery. Although blue can do the same thing, maybe a more violet ship is no, this works, because otherwise, if they don't use this, then I don't really think what else they can use. They can use maybe drone ships that aren't operated by humans and by creatures. So, but that's another thing. Let's go for a cloaked ship. And how can I show cloaking flavorfully? Now help me out, Modern Skiot. First of all, I don't recognize your name, so probably you're just finding out about me here on Twitch. You're browsing Twitch, right? Am I right? And you have no idea what this is. This is a trading card game, and it's a game where you try to conquer the galaxy. You have planets that give you resource. You can explore the galaxy, and that's basically it. You place ships and put creatures inside of them, then the ships can attack, and you can board the ships. That's really fun. You can do a lot of stuff. It's kind of hard to explain in a few sentences though. So a cloaked ship, let me think. So it's cloaked as long as it doesn't attack. So the thing that I'm thinking about is that it can't be attacked. It cannot be attacked unless it attacks first. But then you can use it defensively, and that's not what it does really. If you use it defensively, then your opponent can never. If let's say cloaked ship is on a planet, and you have a creature inside of it, then your opponent can't attack it, and it can't conquer your planet, because you need to destroy all of the... Oh no, yes it can be boarded. Oh, silly me. Let me think. So let's do this. Let's put a clause. If a card name is not on a planet, it can't be attacked. So the idea is that it's cloaked only when it's in space. So it's black, let's say, and you can't see it with your radars in space. But on a planet, you can see it. I don't know. That's the idea. If card name is not on a planet, it can't be attacked. No, let's do it like this. Card name can be attacked or boarded only in space. So what does this mean? This means that while it's traveling and exploring the galaxy and doing other things, it's safe. As long as once you start attacking with it directly your opponent, then there can be some conflict. I think this is a nice ability, nice kind of defensive. It protects the ship and the things inside of it, and it has this feeling of stealth and doing things that your opponent cannot see. It has this surprise attack also. Okay, so this is a good, strong ability. How powerful should a common ship with this ability be? I'm thinking like a 3/3, not a 33/3. So 3 power, 3 health, and 1 speed, again, because since it cannot be attacked in space, while it's in space you can move around as long as you want, so it really doesn't need to be that speedy, that fast. So for a 1/3/3, usually that's between 2 and 3 resources. So I guess it's 3 resources, right? Because it has a good ability. Let's make it 1 violet and 2 colorless. And then you get a nice, not extremely powerful, but defensive ship for violet to use. Nice. I think this is okay. All right, and now I've created a few cards, a few violet cards, and this completes the 6 colors. I've got a few red, actually a lot of red cards. Orange, yellow, green. What is this? Oh, these are uncommons and rares. Green, blue, violet, and then colorless and galaxies. The galaxies, of course, the planets, the galaxy cards, they are pretty easy to make. They just add two resource of the combinations of 2 colors, or like red, red, orange, orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, blue, and violet, violet. Let's make some colorless creatures. And I'm thinking, since they require colorless resource, so they don't really have a strong identity either way. They have to be pretty boring and can be used in as many decks as possible. So first of all, I want to make the most generic creature possible, so that has 1 power, 1 health, and costs 1 resource, 1 generic. And this can be, I don't know, so what's the most generic thing you can possibly think of? A run-of-the-mill human being. So human, like dude or a citizen or something. Human, not even a fighter, just a regular accountant. I don't know. No, human. Just even without a subtype. Let's call it a creature human, and let's call it for now a human dude. All of the names, by the way, are... Oh, there's some... You wrote something, finally. Some feedback. Binary formatter BF equals new binary formatter. File stream file equals file.open. Application.persistent data path plus game.sav file mode.open. What? Is that code? If got the code from a Unity Learn video on Twitch. Save 1 is an instance of a class that I save using serialize. What's that? What does that have to do with anything? Save 1. I have no idea what you're writing there. I think you might be a bot. Are you a bot? Oh, that's not real feedback if you're a bot. Or if you're, I don't know, not a real human. Can I delete your... see, I don't know what any of this means, so... Okay, I'll leave your messages there until you write something else. And this is weird. So human, 1/1 human for one. This is the baseline for crappy generic humans. You generally won't play this, but the fact that it costs colorless is actually important because you can play it on planets that your opponent put in the galaxy, and if you conquer them, you can play this, and it will be a creature on a planet. That's basically what it does. Let's see, maybe what other creatures can you make? Let's go back to my previous iteration of the basic set, and let's go down to generic cards, which is colorless, essentially. Robot assistant, just a robot. Citizen recruit, worker. This is kind of what Orange did. House. Okay, yeah, I think so. Colorless things tend to be buildings. So colorless has more buildings than the colored cards. In fact, I probably, for the first basic set, I will just make the buildings colorless, so it's easier to for newer players to divide what is a building and what is a ship, just visually. And since it's the first set, most people, I mean everybody, will be a new player except like me and the other guys that I work with. And okay, let's call this house, and it's a basic, very basic building that does nothing, and it just costs 1, and it just sits there and kind of can defend your creatures for a while. Now, let me think if 5 is the right amount of health that it can get. So if you get for 1 you get a 1 speed, and okay, so 2 and 4, maybe 4, yeah, 4. 4 is good enough for a house that costs 1. Okay. And so these are very basic cards. What we've got here, 6 buildings that give you resource. So a mine gives you red, a quarry gives you orange, a mill. Let's make it an iron mine. So it's different from like a coal mine or a stone mine. Quarry, mill, farm, dam, and factory. And I haven't really shown some of the galaxy cards last time. So there's an asteroid field that, if you remember from the previous base set, it's pretty much the same thing. At the end of each turn, asteroid field deals 1 damage to all objects on it. And it's a good way of kind of doing the more defensive. It works well with shields, like with cards with shields, and because your ships won't get damaged when they're inside of an asteroid field, and it kind of slows down the more aggressive strategies that just don't explore, don't look at the galaxy explored before going in and attacking. Nebula, again, is a more defensive card. Objects can attack or be attacked on Nebula. It's like a safe place in the galaxy, and this works well with range, the range ability. And Wormhole is more of an aggressive card. An object can move from 2 cards called Wormhole using 1 movement, so it speeds up ships basically, and it works best with the direct strategy. Let me just delete your messages because it looks like you are not a real person, Motanskiot, and you are just a spam bot or something. How do I delete the messages though? Yeah, I do this. Bam. No more chat. And let's go here. No, let's go here. Let's make sure that you can see the chat if anyone should come and visit the stream. You can always send messages. But I'm not sure that that everything is working now. Since nobody is here, there's nobody to tell me if my, let's say, my audio is working. And it looks like it might not be working, even though it tells me that it is. I'll continue making cards. Okay, so I finished the other 3 colors, meaning that I made a few other cards of those colors. And now let's go back to here to Photoshop and start thinking about the 2 color strategies and 2 color identities, because I want to make a set draftable. You need to create many different draft strategies. If you don't know what a draft is, you can watch Let's Make a Trading Card Game on YouTube, and I pretty much explain what draft is. So I want as many 2 color strategies as possible so that you can create all sorts of different decks while drafting, and also in constructed multiverse play. Let's make it like this so I can still type. And I'll start naming, the different color combinations, color pairings. Like here, like this. Can you see this? Let me check if you can see this. Yeah, you can see it fine. Move this a little bit to the left. And go a little bit inside. Okay, perfect. And put this back here. All right. So the color combinations, since there are 6 colors now, there are a lot more. So there's a red, orange. Whoa, I'm lagging. Wow. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe the stream is just lagging a lot. No, it says 30 frames per second. Frames drop 0. I don't know. Looks fine to me. Red, orange. And let's write the identity right here. And there's red, yellow. And there's red, green. And I don't want the identities to be, the strategies to be completely, they need to cross in some places so that you can maybe even build 3 color decks, and they have good enough strategies that they, I don't know, they make sense. Red, green, red, blue, and red, violet. And next, so I'll write this. Let's go down. And there will be orange, yellow, orange, green, orange, blue. This is a little dumb, but I'm just writing all of them out. Orange, blue, orange, violet, and okay, yellow, green. Let's go down again. How many 2 color strategies are there? I think 15, so there's still a way to go. Yellow, blue, yellow, violet, green, blue. This will take a while actually to write them all down, to write not the actual names, but what's inside. Green, violet, and blue, violet. I think that's it, right? Yeah, 15. 5, 5, and 5. Okay. So, let's save this first. And let's see, what do red and orange have in common? So red has direct damage, orange has buildings. War machines, mechs, fast, cheap ships, military personnel, turrets, factories. Okay, turrets are buildings. So maybe they have, their strategy is strong buildings that attack. This is, okay, so attacking with buildings, that's what I'm trying to say. Attacking with buildings. And as of now, kind of orange fills out the boarding part of, or, you know, has a boarding mechanic, and their ships aren't that great. And red has fast and cheap ships, and so the boarding, actually, this doesn't make sense. I have to go with what makes sense, what strategy, what part of red and orange go together well. So fast, cheap ships plus big buff dudes equals boarding strategy. And I'll write here fast ships plus buff guys. It just makes sense because if the okay, to maximize your resources, you either play big ships that cost a lot of resource and put small creatures inside of them and attack with ships, which is what red does, and you know, blue does, and red to a lesser extent, but you get the idea. Or you use like generic small cheap ships and big big creatures and attack with creatures and use the boarding strategy. So if red has fast cheap ships and orange has big muscular fighters, then you can go for the direct strategy, trying to destroy your opponent's home planet, using the boarding ability, boarding strategy. So this is their thing. Plus, like stuff like turrets. Although it doesn't really go with this strategy, it's a thing that both red and orange have in common. I don't know. I'm thinking that red and orange together have a very war-oriented strategy. Let's just write war. Red and yellow. So yellow has trade, politics, cities, hire professionals, deal with neutral planets, cargo ships, and diplomacy and card draw. Turrets, factories, numerous personnel, fast, cheap ships. So I think the thing that makes more sense is actually really this is hard to think. Maybe I should do this by myself actually and figure out the two color pairings, because actually I don't think that now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I have to delineate that much what each color pairing does. I mean, I guess you have to get a general idea, because some color pairings might not even work together, It might make no sense to play green and orange together, for example. So some of these color pairings have to be helped with certain synergistic strategies, I'm thinking, in order to play well in draft and stuff. And you know what? I've been here for an hour and a half, and nobody has showed up. How dare you? Why has nobody showed up? I guess that making cards is not that interesting of a thing to do and to look at. So usually I do 2 hours. I don't feel like doing more than what I already did. I created a few. Oh, Modern Scott, you're actually a person. Hello. Sorry, I thought you were a bot because you started writing weird code. I don't know what that was. Okay then, let's go on. I'm sorry. I called you a spam bot. I didn't realize. Hi. So, are you familiar with the Multiverse, the trading card game? Did you come here for, knowing what you were looking for, or not? If so, then maybe we can choose one of the 6 colors and create some cards together. What's your favorite of the 6 colors? What I write code on your page? Sorry, it was for someone else. Yeah, you wrote code on the chat. I don't remember what it was, but I'm not that into code, so I want to make a game with the trading card game. See? Okay. Black. I don't have black. Black is not a color that I have. I have purple, which is the closest thing to Magic. The Gathering's black is the more evil of the colors. And why haven't you spoken up then? It's so hard to talk to myself for hours on end, trying to convince that there's an audience. Let's make some violet cards. It kind of, violet is the hardest color, in my opinion, to make cards for. As I've shown today, I made 3 creatures in like something like half an hour. Then purple. Okay, purple. All right. So, let's go first here again and see what purple can do. It uses pollution, chemical weapons, like gas and sort of gas, pollution, stuff like that. Drones, manipulation of creatures, cyborgs, and incapacitation of creatures, and sacrificing. All right, let's then do something that has to do with gas, like a weapon that chokes the opponent's creatures. And it can either be a creature that has this ability, or I think an action, because structures don't really tend to have these sort of abilities, I'm thinking. Or maybe we can make a ship that attacks with gas. I don't know, it's weird. Gas. Chokes. Okay, action. So let's make an action that sort of chokes. You know what? Since purple is the color that is the most evil of them, it should have a thing that destroys creatures. I don't think a single card that I've created so far actually says destroy a creature. Yeah, I don't think so. So let's make it something like assassination. And it says destroy any creature, but it has to have a clause, I think, because this is way too powerful. Maybe you need to have a creature on the same planet as an opponent's creature. So you have your creature, and it assassinates the other one. It kills the other one. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. Why? Okay, it's dead now. Who killed it? So let's do this. Destroy any creature on the same planet as a creature you control. Makes sense. So you cannot destroy a creature from afar. That's the idea. Is the game already done, or you are on the design phase? I'm designing cards. I'm making cards, as you can see. This whole thing is a spreadsheet of all of the basic set. So if you're familiar with trading card games, you know that there are different sets, and the game is not done. I mean, the rules are pretty much set in stone at this point. I can fiddle with them and change some minor things, but the rules are pretty much done. I've tested the game many times with previous versions. So see this? This is the previous version of the base set, and since then I've changed a lot of things. So I'm doing this version, and I'm designing cards. This time I decided to design cards, you know, on the internet, so that people can see how hard it is and how maybe uninteresting it is, because nobody is watching. I mean, you're watching, but usually I have a few people following a Twitch stream. By the way, is my audio all right? Are you hearing everything fine? It explode and do damage to other creatures on that planet. Yes. Well, that's a different card though. It's not an assassination. It's more of an explosion. And explosions are more closer to what red does than purple. So destroying creature on the same planet. How much does this card cost? So to make it work, you need to put your creatures in peril. You need to either be on the defensive, so when your opponent's attacking you on your home planet, for example, and you have creatures there, you are defending yourself, or you are attacking them. So basically, you use it when there's already a battle going. I don't know how oh, the audio is good. Fine. I mean, great. Last time there was a problem with the audio. There was an echo. And by the way, have you seen this shirt? I made it yesterday, and I'm digging it a lot. I'm liking this shirt a lot. It's probably going to cost millions of dollars once this game becomes popular. No, I'm just kidding. I have an idea where I just make the abilities like you do here, and player will create the cards how he wants. Of course, with some rules. What? No, I have to print the cards, and they'll be done. Otherwise, how can I balance the whole set and make it so that some cards are stronger? Oh, I guess I know what you're saying. So you come up with an ability, and wait. I mean, for my game. Well, I'm not designing your game right now. Okay, wait. I have an idea where I just make the abilities how you're doing here, and the player will create the cards how he wants, of course, with some rules. That's an interesting idea, actually. A really interesting idea for a mechanic for a game. So if I'm guessing, so you use different templates of cards. I don't know. How would you do that? How does it work? So you make the abilities, and and what happens next? It's actually an interesting thing that, as far as I know, no other trading card games does. So this, okay, I've been stuck with this. I think this costs 3 or 4. Let's make it 3. BV and 1. Pretty violet as an ability. Okay, make some more violet cards. Another ship. Let's try another ship. So this can be boarded if it's in space. maybe a one that has range. Yeah, it is. You know, most trading card games nowadays don't come up with any original ideas. They just use the same mechanics and maybe slightly change them because they know that they work. But I'm honestly kind of fed up with the same sort of game. That's why I'm doing something a little different. And that sounds like an interesting concept, and I have no idea how to put it to how to make it realized. Now I'm thinking, okay, what other ships can I make? A ship that attacks from far and poisons doesn't make that much sense. Okay, a drone. Okay, let's make a drone that doesn't need creatures inside of it. All right, so drone. Ship card name doesn't need creatures inside of it to operate it. So the deal with this is that it attacks by itself. It doesn't need creatures inside of it. But what's the problem with this card then? You trade this for maybe if an opponent boards this drone, then they can control it themselves. So you're trading that. Hard to think. You have basic ships, like let's say a scout who has 0 attacks, 0 and 1 defense, and 1 slot for abilities, power-ups. So if you have researched, learn red matter cannons, for example, that give +1 attack and equip. Of course, scout. So, what kind of game are you making? Is it also about space exploration and battles in space, or what is it about? Scout? Oh no, I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. 0 attack and 1 defense, and 1 slot for abilities. Power-ups. Okay. Kind of. So you learn abilities, and you give them to your ships. And how do you learn these abilities? Is it a constant thing, like every turn you learn an ability or 1 unit of or something? Or it's something that you do in the game? Of course, a scout without upgrading may cost 1 resource. Put on a board like that. That's really cool. I still can't really understand how to make it work in game. So it's a card game, and I'm guessing you have cards for ships and like stuff, and cards for researched abilities, right? And you put the researched ability on top of the card so that it gains that ability or something. Either that, or you kind of have these abilities separate, not on cards. Like a separate deck, but not a deck, or I don't know, like a toolbox. It is a game where almost everything is a card. So abilities and research, things that you research are also cards, right? This seems pretty interesting, actually. I'd like to try and play it. This looks like a blue and black, blue and purple card. I see no downside to this ability right now. You know what? It's really hard to make cards and talk to people. I've just talked with you for a while. It's just in my head now, still trying to learn how to code it. But no one ever did this way. Yeah, that's true. I can't think of any game that did it this way. The only thing that I see close to what you're saying is equipment in Magic the Gathering and weapons in like Shadow Era and the original World of Warcraft game, trading card game. But that's really specific. Just you put weapons on top of creatures or allies, I think they're called, or something, on monsters. Even Yu-Gi-Oh has equipment, magic cards. But if it's an intrinsic mechanic of the game, then I think that's really new. But I don't know how. FTL? Yeah, I know FTL. Oh, so sort of like FTL. You're saying faster than light. Yeah, so you've got cards that are upgrades, I'm guessing, right? I'm just trying to figure out how this works. So but in FTL you have one ship, and the card part of the game is more about the battles. It's really hard for me to understand how it works. Anyway, I want to make this drone ship at least, so I make another ship for today. So if it it doesn't need creatures inside it to operate. Then why do you need creatures at all? No, I don't like these drone ships. They're too powerful. What sort of ship? Like an evil, menacing, spiked ship, maybe, that deals damage to everything that's near it. Huh. Unfortunately, I don't have, since violet is a new color, I don't have any violet cards here. The only thing I can maybe see is a red and blue cards that are similar, maybe. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. This is fine. So I have a powerful card that cannot defend. Powerful. Okay, so a ship that is just made for attacking, and this sounds like violet, because red would battle both when attacking and when defending, and violet maybe is more close-minded and only attacks. So let's call it I don't know, a fighter ship, I don't know, and make it so that card name can't defend. So when it's attacked, it doesn't deal damage in return. It's a small ability that doesn't usually impact the game that much, because unless you have really weak creatures, that your opponent, no, when you have weak creatures in your ship, then your opponent will tend to board it. But if the card can't defend, then maybe they won't board it necessarily. So it's a small downside. I don't know. It's not that big of a downside, I'm thinking. So if it's made to attack, then it's probably something like a 4/2, for example. Be a faster ship. There aren't that many fast ships right now in the game. Just red, right? Red has fast ships. Violet can have some fast ships as well, I'm thinking. So 4/2/2, and a bomber, then a fighter. Oh, I like the idea of having a bomber, like a ship that explodes. That's an interesting thing. Let's call it a bomber. And I see there's someone else in the chat. Who are you? Let's go. Oh no, there's still just you. So there's a person that isn't signed up to Twitch. Just a random bypasser, let's say. Yeah, I'm thinking a bomber is a good thing that. So a ship that doesn't care about the creatures inside of it, and sometimes it can blow itself up with its creatures. It's something that Violet can do, I'm thinking. So for this, let's first think about the cost of this card. And I have my chart here. So for what is it? 4/4 with 1 speed costs 3 resource, and a 4/4 with 2 speed costs 4, 2, 3, 4, either 3 or 4 resources. I'm thinking. Let's make it 3. VCZ. The problem now is that we've got 2 common ships that cost exactly the same. Maybe let's change this a little bit so that the cloaked ship is more color intensive, and this fighter ship is closer to red, so maybe it will be used with the red cards in a red and purple deck. And bomber will be a ship that can blow itself up. So let's say sacrifice card name. And what does it do? How much damage does it do? Deal 2 damage to all objects on the same space as card name. I like this card. 2 damage seems fine. It's a little powerful for a common, I'm guessing. So maybe 1 damage. And 1 damage to all objects. Kind of does a spread thing. And this can be a little cheaper, I'm guessing, like for 2. Since there aren't any cheap ships so far in Violet. And make it like a 1, 2, 2. Maybe a 1, 2, 1. Or 1, 1, 2. I don't know, hard. So for 2 resource, you get 2 to 1. 2 colorless resources, 2 to 1. I think this is fine. This is fine, yeah. This is a mediocre, cheap Violet card. This sounds more like a mine. Well, it's a ship that explodes. That's my idea, at least. So kind of like a mine, yeah. And historically, bombers are used just to deliver damage and have little capability to defend themselves. Oh yeah, you mean bombers in a sense of ships? Yeah, I get it. On the other hand, a fighter is designed to seek and destroy those bombers. Okay, I'm not familiar with the terminology here, so let's call this a bomber. Something like this. And by the way, all of these names are not final. They're just here to kind of tell you what the card does and give you an idea what the card does, and so that makes sense. And once I have all the lore behind it, because there will be some lore behind the cards and the game, then I can sort of change the names so that it's not just bomber ship, but it's like Darwan bomber ship or something, or light bomber, light Darwan bomber. I don't know, something like that. And so this is a ship that explodes, so I'm calling it a kamikaze. The name really doesn't matter at this point. It's just a nice way of calling it. I want to have a ship that costs 1 in purple. Does every other color have a ship that costs 1? Blue does not. Let's see. Red has. I think it should have. No, it doesn't.
It does not have a ship that costs 1. Red is the master of cheap ships. Even the one-man fighter costs 2. Why is that so? Let's make it a scout ship. I want to have it. It has to be fast, like 2-1-1, with no effects. Let's say. Is this too powerful? I don't know. Sounds a lot like that's really powerful. Why is the one-man fighter strong? Okay, I guess it's stronger, more durable. The scout ship also has only 1 creature inside of it. I'm planning 40 cards for every color. 20 commons, 12 uncommons, and 8 rares. And this is not the ideal number for building decks, but I really don't know what the ideal number is. Maybe it is 40. It's just easier to calculate all of the percentages and all of the rarities and such with 40 cards of every color. So it's 40 of every color and 20 colorless. So altogether, it's whoops, went too far back. It's 240 cards. I could have counted that. Plus 20 generics, 260 plus all of the galaxy cards, and that goes up to 285. And so far, you know what? If I can't come up with 40 decent and different colors, different cards for every color, maybe it's time to shorten the, you know, make a smaller pool. Maybe instead of 40, I can make like 36 or something, or even 32. We'll see. No, for now it's 40, and it seems kind of hard to fill every single slot with decent cards. Here, how many of each? I think it's 40 as well here, yeah. Actually more. I don't know why. It's 44 cards of every color. That's weird. For some reason I had 44, but here I just made cards so that I had enough to test with. So many of these aren't really that flavorful or don't really make that much sense in the specific color. So they're there mostly for what's it called? Just for amassing enough stuff. I think you can use my idea. I can, yes, like making weapons and oh, you wrote something back there. So you move like in FTL, but when you have a battle to battle an enemy, you do it in a trading card game style. So you'll have a battleship that is your main ship, like here in Hearthstone, and use your deck to damage your enemy battleship. Oh, that's a spin on the classic Hearthstone and Shadow Era and all of that. You can make a list of possible abilities, then you can combine them with generic ships. The problem is that right now, in order for a ship to attack and to move, it needs a creature inside of it. So you need to play a creature, put it inside of a play a creature, play a ship, put the creature inside of the ship, and then you can move. So already you have in your deck you need to have a certain amount of creatures and a certain amount of ships in order for it to even do anything. So the thing with added abilities is that you can have added abilities, and right now I don't have weapons, but I have weapons planned for other sets beyond the first, things that you can attach to structures. But it cannot be a primary aspect of my game, at least, because my thing is about creatures and ships. So that's the main dynamic. And once you start adding weapons in there, and the thing is, when you shuffle your deck and draw your hand, you might not have any ships or any creatures, and it's just it takes a lot more luck in order to make your deck work. That's why I removed weapons from the base set, and I will add them, but sparingly, like a few here and a few there, and it's not doesn't work as well in my game as in yours, because I'm assuming that in your game you don't have creatures, you just have your ship and sort of different bonuses that you can give it, and different weapons and abilities that you can grant to it. You can make a list of possible abilities. Okay, I've read that already. No, I don't say to make cards that attach to structures. You can make a new sheet where you put abilities, and when you design the card, look there and add one or more of those abilities to the ship you want to make. Okay, let me think. You can make a new sheet where you put abilities, just abilities. And when you design the card, look there and add one or more of those abilities. What's the difference, though? No, actually, no. I disagree with you on that a little bit, because a card needs to be flavorful. If it's a one-man fighter, it needs to have the proper ability. So it goes together. That's at least how I make cards. So it's not that I think of an ability. Okay, it would be great if a card did this. If it did, I don't know, exploded, like you said, and then think, okay, what kind of card, what kind of ship does that? Kind of, I do both at the same time. Although no, wait. There's two ways of designing cards. There's top-down and bottom-up. Top-down means that you start with the concept, with the idea, like, okay, I'm making a Minotaur, or I'm making a one-man fighter in this circumstance. And then you think, okay, what does a one-man fighter do? Okay, it has only one creature inside of it, so it says only one creature can be inside card name at one time. And the other way is bottom-up, where you start with the ability, with the mechanic, and then think, okay, how do I make this work in game? How do I make it feel like it's a real card? And I'm going top to bottom in this set because it's the base set, and it has to resonate as much as possible with the audience and with the people playing. So when you get a one-man fighter, you think, oh, this is kind of like an X-Wing. Look, flies this in Star Wars, and I get it. There's only room for one person. That's why you can only put one creature inside of it at a time. It makes sense, and that's what I want to focus on in the basic set. Then once I can, once I expand and create all sorts of different interesting abilities, then I can start doing bottom-up design more. Or even right now, if I'm missing some abilities that I need, I can do that. But I'm starting with the top-down and then filling in the blanks bottom-up, if that makes sense. Like that do damage to all ships in this sector. What I mean was, you watch a Hearthstone game and see that there is a card that when it dies, steal a card from your enemies. Now you note this idea and think how to use it in your game. So you say, I have to steal ideas. Okay, that's not that bad. I mean, if you don't steal, you just reappropriate the same idea. And the thing is that, in my view, the ability has to match the card. You can't just think of, oh, this is a cool ability, this is a cool ability, let's make cards with them. They have to match first the identity of the color, which took a long time to think and through. Then the identity of maybe the strategy of the color, and what the card is, and although what you're saying can help with creating more and a lot of cards faster. But I think I've played enough Magic the Gathering to know that know a lot of different abilities that you can possibly make. Magic has been alive for more than 20 years now, 22 years, and they have all sorts of different mechanics, and I keep them in the back of my mind when I need them. But too many mechanics also isn't good. You need to make them simple enough, and so there's this that you have to think about. But you're right to a certain degree. Just observe the mechanic and think of ways to use it. Sure. The thing is, I don't see, when I see Hearthstone players, watch them. I'm not that big on Hearthstone, but I understand how it works. I see their abilities, and they make sense. Like a shaman does this, a druid does this, and it's not that mind-blowing. Usually the abilities are pretty simple. They're not that mind-blowing. I can come up with similar abilities just as easily, and I don't have to reappropriate Hearthstone abilities. I'm at a disadvantage. I've never played that game, so I observe a lot of card games and try to learn from their style. That's fine. That's totally fine. I just talk about Magic because it's the first trading card game ever released, and it's been alive, as I've said, for 22 years, since 1993, and so many cards. It has so many different cards. I think it has almost 20,000 different cards, and hundreds of different mechanics, and they are exploring every possible corner of the identities of the colors that they have, and every possible thing that you can think of. They're trying to make cards out of them, and they have so many different mechanics that Hearthstone, I don't know, it has maybe 2 or 3 expansions, and they don't have nearly as many mechanics as Magic. So since I've played Magic, I tend to think that I know more mechanics, and I by no means know every single card that Magic did, because who knows all of them? 20,000, like 18,000. I don't know how many there are. But yeah, you can reappropriate mechanics that you see in other games, or you can think of mechanics in your head. Both work. If they work, then they do work. And as I've said, that this is the way I generally do the cards. I start from the name, from the idea, and then go and find a mechanic that's simple enough to show what the card does. And if you watch even these cards, let's go to yellow, for example, and go to a merchant. You pay 2 yellow resources to draw a card. So what a merchant, you pay him money and he gives you something. He gives you a product. It makes sense. It makes flavor sense. Or a solar-powered ship in green. It has 2 speed if it's on a planet. It has 1 speed if it's on a space adjacent to a planet. It has 0 speed otherwise. So it's solar-powered, and where there's a planet, there's a sun. So if it's near a sun, then it's faster. If it's not so near to a sun, it's not as fast. And if it's too far away, it doesn't move at all. Again, makes kind of sense. I read about it. It's kind of frightening to think that over 10,000 cards, and I said Hearthstone because Blizzard is a little more known than Magic the Gathering. I know Magic the Gathering has a big player base, but not everyone played the game. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure, actually. Is Hearthstone more popular than Magic right now? I don't think so. I think Magic still is more played. It used to be for a long time the most played game ever. But on Twitch, of course, Hearthstone is more popular by a long margin because it's digital. Although Magic has Magic Online, but it's just flashier. Hearthstone, it looks a lot better. Just the graphics look nicer, and it's easier. So newer players, players that maybe aren't used to playing trading card games can pick Hearthstone up pretty easily. Okay. I think I'm burnt out for the day. I haven't made many cards. I think I'll continue doing them by myself. I usually take less time if I'm by myself. It's easier to come up with ideas. So that's the end of this live stream. Thanks for coming, Motanskiot. And if you are interested in how to make trading card games, I have got a series that's called Let's Make a Trading Card Game on YouTube. You can find it there, and you can subscribe to me. There will be a new video on Monday, episode 13. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On Twitch, Hearthstone is a lot more popular, but overall, Magic has more players. Just most of them play paper, the paper version. And if I'm saying that Magic is more popular because they have events with 3,000, 5,000, maybe not 5,000, but 3,000 people playing at the same time. So they have a huge hangar of people just playing Magic for a whole day, and then the next day it continues. It's just crazy. So many nerds. Anyway, you can check that thing that I just said. Let's make a trading card game on my channel. I explain how I'm creating my trading card game, and I sort of explain some basics of how to make trading card games in general, and how some of the some things that you need to know generally about creating trading card games. And yeah, look at it. It's down there somewhere. I've got Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and you can. It's easier if you're subscribed, because once I put up a new video, you already have it right there. So I recommend you to make a YouTube account so that every time I make a new video, you have it right there, and you don't have to check every so often and put in my name and so. Plus, it's one more subscriber for me, so it looks like I have more people watching. And that's that. I'll make another stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT. Check your time zone to see what time that is. And I'll probably won't be making cards. I'll probably be drawing and making something more visually pleasing than this. And was there a game, not a trading card game, called Multiverse? Probably. It's an English word. You can use the word multiverse. It's fine. I don't think there has been a trading card game called Multiverse, so I'm covered there. Yay, followed. Thanks. And that's it. I didn't want to say anything else. You can come here tomorrow if you want, and subscribe on YouTube, blah blah blah. And I'll continue making cards right now. And see you on tomorrow, and on Monday I'll make a new video. And I've said everything, right? Yeah, I think I have. So see you later, and until then.